What is up, lovely people? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming in from. I'm Chef Joel Gamron. Welcome to our homemade here at YouTube. Couldn't be more excited to be live with you here. As you know, what makes this so cool is that we can chat in real time. And at any point, if you want to talk to me, you can. You just do it through the chat and through the lovely Amy. Amy, what's up?
Hello, hello. Excited for this one.
I know. Today we are making gorgeous, stick to your ribs, comforting, big old hug lamb paprikash. So, so good. I think for the winter, top 5 dish. Agree, Amy? Disagree?
Oh yeah, for sure. We were just saying it's gotten a little gloomy here, and this is what we want to eat today.
Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, we're based in Seattle, and it is a little cloudy outside, so it does feel good to make something kind of a stew. If you don't know what paprikash is, it's kind of like a Hungarian, Eastern European stew, and it kind of was made by the ranchers who would be out in the fields all day, and they would need something to kind of just fill them up, nourish them, and it became this kind of hunter stew. It is so humble, it's rich, and really easy to prepare. And today we're doing a lamb version, which for us, as you may or may not know, we are in love with American lamb, good local lamb. And we have a deep, unbelievable partnership with them. The ranchers that bring us our local lamb, they're scattered throughout the United States. So wherever you are, whenever you buy lamb, make sure that it's local, make sure that it's American. These are family-run ranches that we should be supporting, and we love our lamb. And we also have a Fan of Lamb playlist. So if you love this lamb dish, we have many more where that came from. Just go down to our playlist here on our YouTube, and you can see loads of videos. You can also visit the American Lamb website, which to me is the gold standard of all resources. It can tell you where to buy American lamb, other resources, different cuts. It's unbelievable. So check out their website. We'll throw that in the chat. But let's get cooking. Today, for the lamb paprikash, we are focusing on the lamb shoulder. And we're going to get to that in a bit. But when you go to the grocery store or to your butcher, you can have them cube it up. And a lot of the times it's already cubed up. But this is perfect for stewing. It's awesome for grinding. You can make the most gorgeous burgers out of lamb shoulder. So we'll talk about why lamb shoulder is so versatile. It's such an economical cut, and why you just got to get behind good local lamb shoulder in general. But let's start this puppy off. For the paprikash, you want a bed of something because we're making this gorgeous braise. That local lamb is going to give it all this juice, all this gravy. You need something to catch it. Sometimes it's rice, sometimes it's kind of like an egg noodle, but today, sticking with kind of that Eastern European vibe, we're doing a spatzel. Who makes spatzel at home? No? Not a lot of people? What do you think, Amy?
I have made it, but not often.
It's not, like for me, I was just talking about, I forget about spatzel all the time, like that it exists, but when you make it, or when it kind of gets on your radar, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta make more spatzel. So we're going to show you guys how to make a really easy spatzel. It is really simple. So if you have a stand mixer, it makes it a lot easier. If not, you could just go spoon and bowl, and you can make the dough that way. It's kind of a wet dough. And you start with some salt, some flour, and then this is just a nice little add-on, a little bit of fresh ground nutmeg. And that just kind of ties in. Nutmeg and lamb love each other. I'm just using a microplane and just shaving this. If all you have is just some nutmeg, in a little spice container, that's cool too. And we're just going to use the paddle attachment, lock this puppy down, and just start to kind of move that around. So I'm mixing the dry goods. Again, salt, nutmeg, flour. Really, really easy. How's the chat, by the way? Are people happy? Where are we coming in from?
Yeah, you were just saying it was a good fit for us. There's a lot of people are saying around the country it's a good fit for making this dish tonight, I think.
Okay, so everyone's in a little bit of a cloudy, yes.
And Chef, I know we were talking about the boneless lamb shoulder. We have a little giveaway for that today, right?
And we do have a giveaway. Thanks for reminding me, Amy. So if you are here and you are registered for this class, you are automatically entered to win a free boneless lamb shoulder sent to your house. So at the end of class, once we plate this puppy up, we will announce the winner. It'll be really fun. I love that. Thank you to American Lamb for providing that. All right, so off with this. And then we just add in 4 eggs. And of course, the recipe, everything's in our bio. You can check it up, a little bit of milk. And I have some water on standby if we need it. But we're just going to let this go kind of on low. And we're going to just let everything kind of mix. And the flour needs a little help, which this one does. Just kind of scrape down the sides. And you want to let this go for like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so is ideal. Any longer than that, it might get a little bit too chewy, right? You're working the gluten too much. Any shorter than that, and it might be just too delicate. So I'm just kind of scraping all the flour down, and I'm just going to kind of let this mix up with the paddle. I love that. So easy. Again, I want to call out, because whenever I see the big mixer come out, I'm like, am I going to do this? Is this like, you don't need the mixer. You can do it with a spoon. The mixer just makes it easy and allows us to be able to talk about, this lamb paprikash while that thing's working. So a couple minutes on that puppy. Meanwhile, I've got a big Dutch oven warming up. So this whole thing's medium-high heat, maybe like a 7 out of 10. I also preheated our oven to 225 degrees, to about 300 degrees, 350, you can go around there. And that's just getting hot. So oven's 350, pan, medium-high heat. And like I said, we're talking about gorgeous American lamb shoulder today. Now, I want everyone to take a minute, picture me like a lamb, okay? I am an individual lamb. I'm out in the pasture. Here's my shoulders, right? And I'm on all fours. My shoulders are getting a workout, man, right? It is holding the whole lamb up. And that shoulder is muscular. It is strong. And that is why we need to break it down. There's really 3 main ways you can break it down. The first is cooking it a long time, and that will eventually make it soft enough to eat. The second is you can actually pound it. So you can pound it flat. You could take these little cubes and hit them really hard with a mallet, and that will tenderize them, and we could sear them real quick and eat them, and they're delicious. You can bread those, and that's great. And the final is you can break up the fibers by grinding it. So you can put this in a food processor. Again, you can make meatloaf and burgers and meatballs. Lamb shoulder is so versatile, and it's got, if you just kind of zoom in here, John, it's got this perfect balance of that lamb fat without being too fatty. It's actually incredibly lean. It's 21 grams of protein, 160 calories in 3 ounces of this beautiful lamb shoulder. But it has enough fat where it's not flavorless. It has that sweet lamb fat that we're all in love with. So it's got this perfect balance that I just love. And it's ideal for this type of cooking. So we're going to get this pot going. I'm going to add some oil to the bottom. This is just vegetable oil. And then lamb shoulder, I'm just going to go in with some tongs and just kind of start searing this. All right. Little cubes. Again, if you get a boneless lamb shoulder from your butcher or from the grocery store, and you can go on their website to see where it is closest to you to get good local lamb, it might come to you in a shoulder form, in a big, big chunk. That is totally cool. You could cube it up at home to this size. This is, a couple inches by a couple inches. But don't be afraid to ask your butcher or the meat counter clerk to help you out with this. They love it. They absolutely love it for you to say, hey, can you cut this up for stewing? They're all about it. How are we doing? Any questions in the chat, Amy?
I think we're doing okay so far.
All right. That's what I like to hear. All right. So lamb's in. You can already see it starting to brown, and I'm going to hit it with some salt and pepper. And I like to do this in the pot versus salting it outside because it traps all the salt in there and all the pepper in there. That looks great. All right. Now, once you kind of toss it with the salt and pepper, you kind of want to just let it kind of sear. So step away from it. It's hard not to kind of just get in there and move everything around, but let it really get caramelized and brown because that's the base to this stew. We need that lamb to kind of stick to the bottom so we can get all those beautiful bits up off the bottom into our stew, kind of strengthening and enhancing it. All right, so that's looking cool. Here are our ingredients while that's hanging out. I'll lift them up for you, John. All right, so what we got is garlic chopped up. We got a ton of sweet paprika. If you use spicy paprika, let me just tell you, this will blow your head off. It's a lot, so just a little bit goes a long way. So the sweet paprika is where we're after. We've got caraway seeds, smoked paprika, which is different. Smoked paprika has that campfire vibe. And then we've got some tomato paste, and then we've got lamb stock, but you can use beef stock, chicken stock, whatever you want there. All right, so this looks great.
Chef, we do have a question. It's kind of related to not the dish, but using your Dutch oven. So how do you keep the Dutch oven clean after you've been using it and putting everything
well,
in there?
it depends. If your Dutch oven, you ask how you can clean it. Yeah. Some Dutch ovens are made out of cast iron, and if they're made out of cast iron, what I do is right after you're done using it, I put about a cup of kosher salt in it and let the kosher salt cool in the pan, and then I rub the kosher salt around. That's a natural disinfectant, and it seasons the pan. But if it's something like this, like enamel cast iron, good old hot soapy water is totally fine. I do not personally put it in the dishwasher. Yeah. All right, this is looking really good. All right, one more minute on those. Let's check out our spatzel. John, you want to come over here? We'll give it a quick look. All right, so check this out, you guys. It's going to look very wet, but this is about the texture that you want. Check this out. So the way you test your spatzel dough, and I know this looks more like a batter, which it kind of is more like a batter, but you kind of take a spoon and you kind of hold it up, and you see how it kind of window pans like that? See how it kind of flares out? That's how you know it's ready. See, it kind of drip, 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 drip. These are going to drip into little noodles right into our base, into our boiling water. So this is done at this point. So I'm going to remove this, let our dough just hang out. And again, I just want to call out, spatzel is a noodle. That's all it is. It's just like this homemade noodle that you can do in a flash. So really, really simple. All right, check this out, you guys. Smells so good. This is where the lamb shoulder shines. You have that fat. Like, I did not start with this much oil in the pot. It's the lamb fat that's kind of melted inside the pot itself and just building this base for me to play off of, which I love. I already did some ahead of time, so I'm just going to combine these with the rest of its family. It's lamb shoulder family. This looks so good. By the way, a lot of people ask me about slow cooker these days. Like, can you do this in a slow cooker? You totally can. You can't brown in a slow cooker, but you could get it to this step, right? You could brown it in a pan, mix everything together, and put that all into a slow cooker instead of the oven, and then come back from work, and you have this unbelievable stew just waiting for you. Your house will smell insane. That's all I got to say. All right, so check out the bottom of this. See all that browning? That's our lamb shoulder doing its beautiful work. I'm going to add just a couple handfuls of sliced onion. All right, and a little bit of just kind of sliced peppers. I'm using green and red. You can go green or red, whatever you want. Kind of mix those up. And you know, when you're making a stew of any sort, it's good to kind of season as you go, right? So a little salt and pepper at this stage, because these didn't get the salt and pepper from the lamb seasoning. So every little bit, we kind of salt and pepper. And you can see, even if I start to kind of move this to the side, our American lamb fat and all the little drippings are starting to kind of come off the bottom and naturally deglaze with the water that's coming out of the onions and the peppers. This looks great. How we doing, Amy? Anything in the chat?
We're still talking about cleaning our Dutch ovens here, and people have some ideas about also using like some of those kind of scrubby, like barkeeper's friends.
Oh, the scrub, yeah, and the scrub daddies and all those, yeah. Yeah, Dutch ovens, I mean, this is the season. This is when a Dutch oven shines. What's really interesting about Dutch ovens is they're not expensive, right? They last forever. And they're heavy, but they're heavy for a reason because they conduct such even heat. So it's good to kind of invest in one, cook in the same one, so you're kind of building that flavor over time. And man, there's nothing like a good Dutch oven meal. Kind of a one-potter. This looks great. All right. So once these have, ideally I'd give this another couple of minutes just to get soft, but this is pretty soft and caramelized. So we're gonna go in with some garlic. I'm adding the garlic after the onions and the peppers because the garlic could burn. So by doing it now, the garlic just gets about a minute to saute, kind of opens up all of its flavors, and that's it. No chance of it scorching. And now comes the paprikash part, right? The paprika. And again, this is good Hungarian sweet paprika. You can just use normal paprika. Just stay away from the hot, spicy paprika. This is just a lot. And this is more than you would find in a normal recipe. I mean, this is a ton of paprika. This is going to help thicken it, but also give it just that like token, sweet, kind of earthy vibe that paprika always brings. And you kind of want to toast that. Look at that. Inside the garlic, the peppers. How good does that look already? Oh my God.
That lovely color.
I
from the
know. It's like
paprika.
this caramel brick, unbelievable red. That looks really, really good. You guys, we talk a lot about why we have partnered with American lamb. And American lamb, I think a lot of the times when we think about going to the grocery store and what we're going to pick up for our dinner tables, lamb is not the first thing that comes to mind, but it should be. It is unbelievably versatile. 9 out of 10 of these farms are family farms, so we want to support them. So buying ground lamb, buying beautiful local lamb shoulders, lamb shanks. The key is just to ask if it's American lamb, if it's local. That is the key. And to get it on our table, once, twice more a week makes a big, big difference. So start to work lamb into your repertoire. You will see a huge difference in the flavors that you bring to your family and friends. This looks great. All right, I'm going to add some smoked paprika and caraway seeds. And then I'm going in with, this is very important, some tomato paste. Slap that in there. And just kind of, all this is going to come together. And after about 30 seconds, you're going to deglaze.
There was a question, could you use a little wine to deglaze?
I mean, that's not a question. That's a
Right?
necessity. I love that. If you want, I would go with the wine first, and I would deglaze with the wine and let that kind of cook down for a minute, just to take away that burn, and then I would add in the stock. But a good cup of wine in here, a good red, be killer. Look at this. Speaking of red, look at the color. Hasn't even cooked for more than 10 seconds, and it looks like this gorgeous, gorgeous, like I said, brick red. That is just a bath waiting to happen for all this American lamb. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Killer. Right? And now you want to kind of use the back of your spoon, and you kind of want to clean the bottom of the pan and scrape your Dutch oven and get all those little lamb bits off and into your sauce. Right? And this is the point where if you really wanted to transfer it to a slow cooker or even a pressure cooker, you totally could. Nothing against it. But at this point, you've already gotten the pan kind of dirty. Oven's on. You don't have to worry about it. I say just do it in the Dutch oven. Old school. Oh, forgot one thing. Can't forget our bay leaf. I used to think bay leaves don't matter. I was like, recipe calls for a bay leaf. I don't have it. It's unbelievable how much it does. My mentor in cooking, she lives in California, in kind of Sonoma Valley. And I went to her house one day, and she had a bay tree. And I got out of the car, and I was like, why does your house smell so good all the time? And it was this fresh bay tree. And she would go out, and she would clip off bay leaves. She'd put them in things like stews and pretty much everything she was making. And her cooking it was so soulful. It was so round. It was so balanced. And when I think back to it, it really is the bay leaves that kind of tie a lot of it together. It brings a floralness to it. So don't overlook the bay leaves, people. Bay leaves have a secret power. I love it. All right, so here's our bath. It looks amazing. Bath, such a weird concept, but it is the perfect vessel for our American lamb. And then here's all of our seared lamb. So at this point, I'm going to kind of tip it back in and give it a good mix. Now, I want to just do, I know a lot of people know this, and you might not be hanging out with us if you don't love cooking, but for those of you who do not know, I want to go through braising 101. So what is braising? Braising is searing something, so getting nice high heat like we just did, in a dry pan. So that's in a pan with just a little bit of oil. So you get a good dry sear, and then you add a little liquid to it, and you cook it for a long time. And you add a little liquid to it like we did with this beautiful kind of broth that we made, because otherwise, if I cook this, it would just get dried out. So the liquid keeps it moist, keeps it succulent, and allows you to break down that American lamb shoulder in all the right ways. This looks so good. Oh my gosh, and colorful too. All right. So at this point, we put the lid on it, right? If you want, you could just turn this on low and just do it right on the stovetop. But I find a peace of mind by taking the whole thing and putting it in the oven. You don't have to worry about stirring it. You don't have to worry about the heat being on. Sometimes I leave the house and I have gas at home, and I don't know, an open flame while I'm not home freaks me out. So it's nice to just put it in the oven. It's surrounded by heat. It will take care of it for you. So we'll pretend that we're doing that. We have one in there as a swap. All right. Any other questions, Amy, before I get into the spatzel?
I think you're about to do the spatzel, but they're just wondering, did it need to rest before you started cooking it? Because you did rest it. Is that a necessary step? Or is
Rest
it just
what?
The spatzel.
No.
Okay.
We could mix it and cook it. It was just hanging out because we were too busy chumming it up with the lamb paprikash. So that's hanging out. Pretend like we threw that in the oven. And now we can make this ahead of time. We can do it right before dinner, whatever you want, okay? To make spatzel, you need something with holes in it. Because what's going to happen is the dough is going to kind of drip through these holes into this water, and it's going to cook instantly, all right? This is perfect because it just nestles right on top of this. If you don't have this, you could use something like this strainer, right? So if you have like a pasta strainer at home, anything that you can kind of press the dough through and it will kind of drip down. So really, really simple. So what we do is I like to always kind of start with a test, but take a little bit of this dough, kind of pour it around. Just do a little bit just to see how you like the consistency. And then I grab something to kind of press it through. So you can use the back of a spatula, something like that. And I kind of just, I want to make sure you guys can see it, but I kind of press it. And you see how it kind of drips down? That is what we're looking for. And I kind of do this test batch because you might see that the spatzel's too small for your liking. You want it a little bit longer, in which case you could add a little flour to it. But I actually like the way this looks. Check this out, you guys. Aren't those awesome when we get close? These are like little egg noodles, right? I mean, how great is that? So I'm going to keep going because I'm very happy with the consistency. So I'm going to go again.
It feels really fun to do that.
It is not, I'm not going to say, not addictive. This is one of those really just, I don't know, cooking's so fun. Like, this is one of those things where it's just like, it's kind of artsy and messy and, I don't know, it just feels good to just scrape dough down these little holes, see them drop right into the water. Isn't that fun, you guys? Nice shot, John. That looks great. I'm going to do one more so you guys can see. And I don't know, making fresh pasta, that's a whole production. But you can do it with spatzel, and it doesn't feel as kind of like cumbersome. I love making, fresh pappardelle and things like that, but not on like a normal weeknight. But I would do this on a normal weeknight. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Mix the dough right over the top. A lot of families do this multiple times a week. And it's kind of different than, your typical rice or potatoes. It's just a nice side dish. This looks really good. All right. That's enough spatzel. All right. So spatzel is boiling away. And you want it just to go for about, 2-3 minutes is key. And then we have just, a little slotted spoon, a spider, whatever you want, just to go in there and kind of fish out all of our little noodles. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're like little dumplings. I love it. And while those are boiling, of course, I have a little bit of butter. And I'm just going to go from the water into the butter, and that will just melt and kind of coat our spatzel. So let's take a look. All right, so how you know these are done after they've, again, it's about 2-3 minutes, but you should be able to feel them, and they should be kind of springy. If they're still kind of soft, just give them another minute. Mine need another minute. These look really great. Guys, we're getting ready to announce our winner of our local, beautiful American lamb shoulder. We talked a lot about the shoulder today, and I just want to emphasize, I think when you hear the word lamb shoulder, we're all used to lamb leg or lamb loin or lamb chop. Lamb shoulder is overlooked, and you as a home cook have an opportunity to get behind it. Sorry, I'm so messy today with this spatzel, but to get behind it, support good local lamb shoulder, because again, there's so much you can do with it. So try it. It's got a flavor unmatched. It's got that balance of fat and versatility that you just want. So lamb shoulder it up big time. All right, here we go. I'm taking a little bit of the water out with me to make this beautiful kind of butter sauce. But I'm just going to kind of fish out these spatzel. Oh, man. How fun is this? Such a joy. Cooking is such a joy. This looks so delicious.
I feel like it made so much, too, from that little bit of batter.
That was like a cup of batter.
Yeah.
You're right. And again, if you like thicker, bigger spatzel, add a little, like a tablespoon more flour. If you want smaller, more delicate, take away a tablespoon of flour. So find the noodle texture that works for you. This is what we like, what we've tested, and these look great. They're just like little, I don't know, noodle, I don't know the right word.
I feel like they're a cross between
Noodle
a noodle
bombs?
and a dumpling.
Yeah, they're like little dumplings. You're right.
There was a question, could you put some herbs in the dough?
Oh my, could you put some herbs in the dough? Of course you could put some. You guys are all thinking the right way. I love it. And you can even toss it with a little herbs at the end, too. We're going kind of classic.
What do you think what you would do, herb-wise?
I might go with some chopped up scallion, maybe a little bit of really finely chopped parsley. I think tarragon would be really nice, actually. Just calling that out. I am going to put a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And just kind of toss those noodles with my butter. Look at that. Look at those. How fun is that? It is the perfect base. And I might even go, yeah, there's even some more in here.
And then do you think this would work with a whole grain flour?
I would want to test that. I think it would. It would probably be 50-50, like whole grain to white flour. So I might go 50-50. But it might get really dense really fast. You probably will add another egg yolk or something like it just to enrich it. I wouldn't want it to be too chewy. But I think it'd be good. One thing I can totally smell is the nutmeg. All right. Let me toss this through. Oh, yeah. These are creamy. Gorgeous. And I'm just going to try one for salt. Yeah. Way more salt for me. I'm a chef. But buttery, springy, neutral. And you don't want it to be, this is not the center of the dish, right? This is the base of the dish. This is complementing the lamb paprikash. So that's exactly what we want. It is fresh. It is different. It is piping hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a bowl. Are we getting a good shot over here, John? And I'm just going to load this bowl up on one side with our spatzel. So fun. So different, too. It feels like a breath of fresh air. When you do things like this that you don't normally make, like a spatzel or something, it just kind of like mixes up the week. It makes you feel like you traveled somewhere or did something new. It's not the same old white rice and noodle. Try it. Make it. It's flour. It's water. It's egg. You've got all those things. All right. Now, this is one that we did about 2.5 hours ago. It's been baking away. Our studio smells otherworldly. And let's just take a look. Oh my gosh. I mean, it is a dark, rich color. Oh, can I hold this up to camera and see if we can get a good shot of this, John? Look at that. Oh my Lord. And I just want to show you guys how tender we're talking here. You can't even put a fork in it. It just pulls apart. You guys see that? I mean, insane. This is why lamb shoulder is just totally imperative here. It just has this unbelievable tenderness to it. When you braise it like this, that's unmatched. And the flavor is just so unique. I love it. Oh, so I give this whole thing a good toss, right? And then, you know, I season it. This is a good time to just pause. I want to spoon it on there, just like everyone else does. But, you know, test it. Things could have changed in the oven a little bit. It's smoky. It's not too rich, but it's rich enough, right? I'm going with some salt. Some salt. I'm a chef. I go with a decent amount of salt. Mix that salt in. It's unreal. Makes me so happy. All right, one more taste. Looks like chocolate sauce. It's so deep. There it is. That's beautiful. And I salt it just to pop. I want to taste that lamb, right? Good local lamb has a unique flavor. That is the star of the dish. So I take my gorgeous, beautiful noodles, and I just kind of put right next to the spatzel. These little pieces of lamb and the shoulder, just celebrating the whole animal. Look at that. Is that crazy? Grab a little bit of the gravy right over the top. I go half and half, so you can kind of grab noodles as you need it. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see if we can get a close in of that, John. We'll get really close so you guys can really see, but is that gorge? I mean, unbelievable. And then, classic Hungarian style, we'll throw a little bit, we have some yogurt or sour cream that we just added a little bit of water to. You just kind of drizzle that. I do it over both, the spatzel and the lamb itself, and then maybe a little bit of just chopped parsley over the whole dish.
Beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, I just want to kind of show that to you guys. Celebrate all things American lamb, all things warming, comforting. This is what homemade is all about. You serve that to someone, that is equivalent to giving them a hug. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to try it, and then we're going to announce a little winner here of who's going home with our lamb shoulder. But let me, I'm going with just a little bit of lamb, scooped up with a little bit of spatzel. And it's literally falling apart before it even gets to my mouth.
Someone is asking, they buy local stewing lamb. That's what the label says. Is that shoulder?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes that's shoulder. Sometimes that's mixed with other parts of the animal that need to be cooked for longer. So it could be a little bit of trim here and there. I love buying lamb stewing meat. That's perfectly great. It would work awesome for this. The reason why I love it is we talked about supporting our ranchers. You know, sometimes there's trim, sometimes there's cut, and, you know, we want to use the whole animal. So that just shows the ultimate respect to lamb itself. I love it. Let me tell you what I'm tasting here. The first thing you get is you get smokiness. Right on the front is just that smoked paprika, that paprika in general. It just has this kind of like, I don't know how to call it, like campfire, like just unbelievable woody. And then the lamb shoulder. It's unbelievably tender, not too fatty. Sometimes when I eat certain stews that have a lot of fat on it, it's just too much. It takes over the entire gravy. You're chewing through fat, gristle, none of that. Lamb shoulder has that, like I said, that perfect balance. So you're not really worried about that. You get the brightness from the sour cream. And then these buttery, just gems of joy spatzel are just like drinking the gravy. And they just combine to just work every single time. All right, while I'm eating this, who is our winner? Do we want to announce them, Amy?
Yes. So I always announcing YouTube handles. Make sure that I'm saying everybody's name here. But our winner is at Mike EVER, something along those lines. So
Nice.
I will tag you in the chat there, and you're gonna send us an email to claim your boneless lamb shoulder.
I love it. Congratulations, Mikey EER or something like that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us live. We love cooking here. We're here almost every day cooking live with you guys, with unbelievable partners like the American Lamb Board. Like I said, go check out their website. If lamb is something that's usually on the menu, you're going to find tons of inspiration there. If lamb is something that you maybe are not familiar with, you're going to find so many resources there. So they have one of the best websites I've ever seen. I am not just saying that. Go to the link, check it out. And again, if you want more lamb from us, we have a whole playlist. The American Lamb playlist, Fan of Lamb playlist. It's right below here on YouTube. You can just scroll down. Everything is for free. Hopefully you guys had a blast. Make this hug in a bowl lamb paprikash. You will love it. Support our local ranchers, and we will see you next time on Homemade Live. Take care.